Well, hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1675 of What You Up To Now. Documenting the journey, primarily the business journey, as I originally transitioned from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. And then in 2020 with the pandemic and all the craziness that created in the world, back and forth again. So I like to have my fingers in both the offline and the online world. And I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. I guess I had a tickle in my nose. Well, today we're talking about, for the annual challenge, we're doing an annual challenge, the BU 365-day challenge this year, to do one thing every day that improves us. And this month we're focusing on the area of confidence, and we always want to increase our confidence because that impacts every other area and aspect of our life. So as part of that, I've been sharing a card for the last few days that to me speaks to confidence. And today's is about, in our appreciation, it says, in my appreciation, I allow myself to receive wonderful things. And then it talks about in detail, which I need my magnifying glass to share, what do we need to do in order to bring more good things into our life or wonderful things into our life? Because heck, if we're going to bring stuff into our life, it might as well be awesome things, not bad things. Guess what? Whatever we're thinking about, whatever we're focusing on, whatever we're paying attention to, whether it's on a conscious or subconscious level, that's what's showing up in our life. So if we're ever wondering what we're thinking about or how we can change our results and what we're getting in our life, all we have to do is look at the results we're getting. If we're not in the relationships we want to be in, it's because we are thinking about the relationship we're in, and that, I guess I'm meat-axing this a little bit, but if we're not making the money we want to make, if we're not in the level of health that we want to have in any area or aspect of our life, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, with relationships, contribution, communication, or confidence, it's because, and by looking at our results, we know what we're thinking about. And the fastest way to change anything in our life is to think about our thoughts, think about our beliefs, and focus on what we want. Find time every day to think about what you want. Visualize what you want. Imagine and fantasize literally about what you want in every area and aspect of our life. And so that's part of what we're doing in the challenge. We're breaking that down into little tiny pieces, and we're taking things that really work for us, things that really work for me, and then the people that are participating are taking the things that really work for them, and we're finding ways to make them automatic, to make them into routines and rituals and habits and things that we do automatically in our life, so we don't have to think about them all the time. And we get the results we want. We move toward our long-term goals and objectives without it feeling like it's so much work or so hard or so challenging. So our idiom to coincide with that, because for my Supersize Your Business for Me Female Entrepreneurs group, I decided it would be easier for myself, I know, selfish, but also meets my objective for that group, is to pick an idiom that coincides with what we're talking about for the annual challenge. And so today's was silver lining, and this is one I know we've talked about before, and it's basically a metaphor for optimism from John Milton in 1634 that reminds us to look for the upside, look for the lesson. At least we have to look for the lesson in all of the experiences that we have, because the bad things come up in our life to show us something we need to see. And sometimes when we're in the heat of it, a lot of times when we're in the heat of it, a bad experience, a bad situation, a bad breakup, a bad financial loss, an accident, an illness, it's hard to actually see the gift in that. But I've had a lot of experience looking for the gift in the bad stuff that happens. And I've found that when I look back on my life, the bad things that happened are the things that really caused me to change and do something differently. My sudden cardiac arrest, as terrible as that was, and as hard as it was to deal with, and the recovery and things from that, it actually was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Now, it might have taken me a couple of years to look back on that and figure that out and learn those lessons, but it really was, because it caused me and gave me permission, which I needed to give myself permission. But a lot of times we don't give ourselves permission because we don't think we have that power. We think that we're living in all the shoulds and the expectations of the world and the people around us, when we're making choices and things that aren't right for us. And I was really deep down that rabbit hole of things that were horrible for me, but I kept doing them because people around me wanted me to keep doing them, because it benefited them. But it was really, really, literally killing me. So biggest lessons learned come from our challenges and from the bad things that happen. I wish as humans we could have good things happen and learn from them and just keep doing more of them. And I think we can intentionally do that. But I think our subconscious and our reptilian brain is wired to learn from the bad things and keep us safe. And so it'll keep us safe, but it won't cause us to grow. It'll just keep us doing more of the same, which is kind of insanity. So I like this idiom. I think it's a great idiom. It reminds us to look for the bright side, because there's always a bright side. Look for the upside. Every day is a new day. Every day comes again. So no matter how bad a day is in our life, it's usually not even a whole day, right? It's usually one thing that happens that wrecks our whole day. And then the next day we can let it all go and we can start over again. But we need to believe that. We need to commit to ourselves that we're going to do that. Because as soon as we change our thinking and our beliefs, we change the things we see, we change the things we're open to, and we allow wonderful things to come into our life. But we have to be focusing on what we want, not on what we don't want, because we can only create one thing at a time, right? In terms of what we want to create. And I don't mean like I can only create one magnifying glass or $1 at a time. I mean, if we're thinking negative, we're not going to create anything positive in our life. It's going to the negative is going to override everything. And guess what? It's a lot easier in the world that we live in to focus on the negative and think negative things than it is positive. And so we have to consciously find ways to focus on what we want. A little bit every day is all it takes. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. My mom left for Texas today, so I'm a little bit sad. I'm not a little bit sad. I'm quite sad because I love her and I miss her. I'm going to flash her picture because she's such a cute little lady. She was modeling in some fashion show. And I think I've got her in pajamas up here too because of the old pajama grandma things. Anyway, have a great day and I'll be with you tomorrow.